Om Tat Sat. My humble prostrations to the all-pervading Brahman, to my worshipful Guruji, Swami Jyotirmayanand Ji Maharaj, to sage Narada and all other sages and saints, and to each of you divine soul watching today's satsang. So today we will be starting with Sutra number 49 from the Narada Bhakti Sutras. We are on chapter 2, Glory of Supreme Devotion. Commentaries by my Guruji, Swami Jyotirmayanand Ji, and narrated by myself, Swami Nikhilananda. So let's get started. Sutra 49, chapter 2. It is Vedanapi Sanyasyati Kevalam Vichinnam Anuragam Labhate. Again, Vedanapi Sanyasyati Kevalam Vichinnam Anuragam Labhate. Meaning, he crosses Maya. Maya is illusion, the gunas, Prakriti. He crosses Maya who renounces even the Vedas and attains the unalloyed, uninterrupted flow of ever increasing divine love. So again, to understand the sutra, we will be covering it in two parts, and today and tomorrow. So this sutra speaks of the culminating qualities that result from cultivating the virtues that we had described in the past few sutras. So it is Veda Sannyasa, renunciation of the Vedas. So this we need to pay attention to understanding this, because we are taught that Vedas are the highest knowledge. So why should we be renouncing the Vedas? So a devotee becomes established in nivritti, or the path of absolute renunciation, the path that leads beyond the world of time and space and beyond the perishable fruits of karma. So this is high philosophy. The knowledge of the Vedas, a great portion of it is to keep us tied to the world process. We ask for material things, we ask for treasures, we ask for peace, happiness, kids, family. All those things are within time and space, and here the context is that we want to go beyond all that. So therefore we have to renounce that portion of the Vedas that is binding us to the worlds, because mostly people look for heavenly reward, and not only the world but also the heavens. So a lot of people consistently, sincerely do the Vedas. Even today it's called the Panchagni, where they pray and they maintain the fire that they will get heaven, and they do get heaven. But then what happens is, when that time ends, the karma ends, they are born again. But a devotee who has caught a glimpse of the transcendental beauty of the divine self, who has seen God, he is no longer attracted to such perishable fruits. Actions, no matter how glorious, they bring forth their reward in the world of time and space only. That's all we can see, that's all we can expect and hope. But that is limiting. Time and space is a limiting adjunct, whereas the spirit is beyond time and space. It is Sat Chit Ananda, which means existence, knowledge, bliss, absolute. And that's the state that will terminate the cycles of birth and death. Every other state will keep us bound. That is what Veda Sannyasa here means. So whatever is realized in the world of time and space is subject to illusoriness, destruction, and death. So those are the three things that within time and space we cannot defy. We cannot ignore those. Anything from an ant to an elephant to a human being. We are here and we will all depart. That is the essence of this sutra. So we have to understand the Vedas properly. The role of the Vedas is to study the Upanishads that belong in there. And if you do that properly, that will take you beyond time and space. That is why Lord Krishna says in the Gita also that Traigunya Vishaya Veda Nistraigunya Bhavararjuna Nirdvandvo Nitya Swastho Nir-Yogakshemam Atmavan. So he is saying the Vedas deal with the three gunas, O Arjuna. Become free of the three gunas and rising beyond the pairs of opposites, abiding in sattva, unconcerned with acquisition and preservation, be ever established in the self. This is from chapter 2, shloka number 45 in the Bhagavad Gita. So all these scriptures keep bringing us back to the same point because they are guiding us. They want us to get enlightened. They want us to, like any mother that wants to help the child, the scriptures, the nature, God, all these are trying to help us, but we are the ones who are holding tight and don't want to let go. So therefore, once we learn that art, things become a lot easier. So the Vedas may also be interpreted as religious scriptures. When divine love is experienced and the true spiritual path unfolds in the life of a devotee, he no longer depends upon the words of written scriptures. So it's very important to understand that once you attain enlightenment, you are that living scripture. You become the moving temple of God. You are the one that will radiate the fragrance. So therefore, all these scriptures were needed initially to study, to understand, to absorb. But once we get all that, we are way beyond all these things. The Vedas. That's the implication that Sage Narada is saying, that you do Veda Sannyasa. But it's only when you reach that state, mind you. Before that, you have to be very sincerely studying it. The ideal of transcending the scriptures does not mean that we should cease to be guided or inspired by them. So we should constantly, just like Guruji, Swamiji, myself, all of us are doing this Jnana Yagya constantly for inspiring ourselves as well as others. A carriage is renounced only when the destination is reached. Only then it is wise. Otherwise, you need the boat to cross the river. Once you have crossed it, you no longer need to be sitting in the boat. But while you are crossing it, that boat better be safe and secure. In the same manner, scriptural guidance is transcended only when a devotee becomes immersed in the blazing fire of divine love. So we have to get to that parabhakti state and become part of that energy. Then only then. So that is what we have covered in this part 1, and we will be covering Avichin Anuraga tomorrow. That is part 2 of this sutra. This is Swami Nikhilananda. Om Tat Sat.